Hell yeah.
More like the worst wing.
Good joke, Bernard.
Thank you, I just thought of it.
More like studio shitty on the sunset shit.
More like booze room.
More like Aaron Dorkin. Or Aaron Suckin.
More like Aaron Sorkin's adaptation of To Kill a Mockingbird.
Welcome to RPG Book Club LongCast, the podcast where we play a little bit of a long video game and talk about how it makes us feel. I am Sam Holman.
Oh, I'm Maddie Grace Spiffle-Webben.
I'm David Bernard Hauk.
And today we'll be covering part 3 of part 2 of .hack GU, covering everything up until we had said the arena, but that's not where we stopped. But there's a plot revelation at the fancy battleground place.
Something Battlefield.
The Coitus rigorous battlefield, something like that.
It's basically Coitus Boner Battlefield.
Yes. The Coitus Boner Battlefield. And
Coitus Boner Battlefield.
Yes. No. And yeah, so without much further ado, apologies if I am really low energy. I have no energy because my kid is a nightmare tonight. So apologies for that. Thankfully, Bernard gets to do all the talking.
So you're
I
saying
have lots of energy.
So you're saying this episode isn't brought to us by Monster Energy Drink?
It definitely should be, but it is not.
Man, I love Monster Energy Drink.
Why are they so
too.
expensive? I used to drink them at the beginning of COVID. I actually did drink them somewhat regularly because they were good. But it's like, look, I'm sorry, those things are $2 a pop.
You know, the main thing I miss about working in the office is that our office had a break room, and it had a soda vending machine where all the sodas were 25 cents, and it had Monster Energy Drink, the full size 16 ounce or whatever it is. Monster Energy drinks for 25 cents a can.
Oh, fuck. That's incredible.
I know. Best part of my job.
IT Freedom has a free drink fridge, and Courtney would just fill it up with different stuff every day. And so she asked everybody, like 3 days before COVID, what all of our favorite drinks were. And so I, of course, said the white Monster Energy drink because it's delicious. And then COVID happened. So she got them for me and loaded them up in there, and I never went back to the office until my exit interview, at which point she said, put like 6 of those in your bag on the way out. So shout out to Courtney. You're a real one.
That's great. Yeah, what a fucking G. That's great.
That's your severance package.
Yeah.
Your severance package is 6. Hey, that's like $12. I mean, that's pretty good.
That's pretty good.
More than,
that's more than you usually get in the state of Texas.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's more than that's. I would say that's like, relatively speaking, more than we got from the government for the entire pandemic.
Yes. Yeah, let's dive right in and start talking about the week this week, which, spoilers, was a really good week. I really enjoyed every single one of the plot developments that happened this week.
This was my favorite week so far in this project.
Yeah. I would say it's my least favorite week of this game, but only because like the plot slowed down a little bit and was more like characters just chilling, which is still fine. It just wasn't like bam, 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 bam. But I still had a really good time with it. I
should say the second half of this week is my favorite week. The first half was like these 4 dungeons could have been an email. I didn't need to do any of this shit.
There's a lot of it could have been email stuff this week, but yeah, no, the my sort of vague notion that I had last week that the whole it's a tournament thing, even though it's knowing we're doing it again, it's like weirdly better this time. 100% true.
Yeah. Yeah. Not to mention the gameplay is good finally this week. Oh my god,
so many improvements.
Took a game and a half for them to really improve the gameplay, but they did it.
Yep. Which is funny because, as we've discussed, this isn't actually 3 different video games. It's actually just one game that they made that they tricked people into paying 3 times as much for. So, like, this shit could, like, they probably did plan this all from the beginning. So they're like, we're gonna plan for the first one to be boring. Like, if the first game was kind of a boring game battle system, but then, you know, they made a sequel and decided to make it better after getting feedback, that would make more sense. But this is like, no, you weren't really reacting to feedback. You just kind of did this way, didn't you?
So I think specifically with the sword switching and the tuning to the patches, as they call it in the emails.
Yes.
Those I could see being iterated over the year when people are like, man, I really like this new .hack game, but it's annoying because the sword does so much more damage than the things. I'll never know if like it's worth the DPS trade-off to go and be able to be faster, so I'm just going to leave it on the sword forever. And I could see them taking that and being like, okay, cool, now that there's 3 weapons you can switch all the time. I could see them.
Based on their development pipeline. Based on their development pipeline, I guess you're right. They could have made like done some minor dev work on the in-between game. That's true.
And those two tweaks of changing the awakenings to be worth it and switching weapons on the fly is the thing that makes it like
totally
30 times better.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I could see it happen. Anywho, let's listen to some music. I don't even know if there was new music this week. I really wasn't paying attention. So we'll listen to some shit. And then Bernard will tell us about the plot. Take it away.
So this story starts, as all good stories do, with an email. Syllabus emails us about a new job extend quest. He types out a bunch of stuttering for some reason, which, even if that's how you feel, you don't have to do that in an email. And I'm not even really sure why he feels nervous, but apparently he did and wanted us to know.
It's because they're essentially planning a surprise party for you, right? It's pretty minor.
Oh, yeah.
It's pretty minor.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair.
He's like, I can't let Haseo find out about the thing that we're planning to surprise him with, so I'm going to act by typing nervous in my email so that it seems like I'm hiding something.
Exactly. So we head to Doldona to accept the job extend quest, and Antares is there. Haseo asks him why he's there, Antares dodges the question, and the scene ends. And we're like, okay. We take the quest with Syllabus and Gaspard and head to the area. There are doors here that require answering trivia questions about the world lore. So thank God we had Maddie read all that.
Absolutely.
I actually managed to remember the answers to a few of these questions.
Me too. Fewer than I would expect, since I'm the one who read all of it and wrote up notes for it. But to be fair, sometimes these different gods have very similar names. So,
yeah, I aced it because I'm a nerd.
If they had been like, what are the themes of this, I would have got every question right. But when they're like, what was the actual name of the god that did that thing? And I'm like, okay, I remember the story, but I don't fucking know.
Yeah, the first door, I got every question wrong multiple times. And when you get a question wrong, it sucks some chim spheres from you, and that's bad. So I have a lot fewer chim spheres than I did before.
Yeah, the game is a guy at like 100.
Yeah, I hate chim. I rate it. The whole concept.
It's stupid. They're trying to make it this whole thing, but it's so little effort to get them that you just have a billion of them at all times. So even having to go through the quick little text prompt to insert the chims, it's not adding anything because you always have them, right? Unless you happen to have them sucked away from you a whole bunch of times in a row because of a quiz thing. But this is the first time that's ever actually mattered, right?
Yeah.
It's a dumb thing.
Yeah. So, along the way through the dungeon, Syllabus and Gaspard hack GU Volume 2 reminisce about when they first met Haseo, and this pisses Haseo off. He decides to do the rest of the area alone. When he reaches the beast statue, a voice asks why he wants power. Haseo thinks about friends and whether it's good to have them or not, and stuff like that, and he realizes what's really important and decides to bring his friends along after all. Haseo returns to find Syllabus and Gaspard just standing there. He asks them to come to the beast statue with him. They tackle hug him. I guess that's an emote. They go to the beast statue.
Glomp.
Yes. I intentionally did not use that word because I don't like it.
Sorry. I started ironically glomping my girlfriend on Discord chat, and would you know it? It started becoming unironic.
Oh God.
To be
Kinda
fair,
like
I
the
only
West
do that.
Wing.
To be fair, I only do that because it makes them very upset, and they don't like it.
I see.
In my defense.
In your defense, you're being insufferable in a different way.
Yes.
So they go to the beast statue together. Turns out you have to open the chest together with your party, or the treasure will disappear, because friendship. Gaspard lets slip that Antares told them about this. Apparently it was supposed to be a secret that Antares was helping, for some reason.
Well, Haseo does kind of fucking hate when Antares helps with shit.
But Haseo fucking hates everything and goes along with it anyway.
True.
Yeah, it's like, hey, Haseo, do you want to come on this quest? No, I fucking hate you. Everything is horrible. What are the area words?
Exactly.
Or even better, it's like, you want to come on this quest? No, fuck off. Okay, cool, see you at 11.
And then he shows up at 11 and they say, Haseo, you're late. So they turn in the quest, and Haseo gets a scythe and a ridiculous new outfit that I don't like near as much as his previous two designs.
I think it's dope.
Yeah, I think it looks
he's got
really
like
cool.
those weird puffy things on his thighs, and he has the weird scorpion tail. I don't like it.
It's okay. We get a new one next
It reminds me.
volume.
It reminds me of Zone of the Enders.
Ah. I have not played Zone of the Enders, which is weird that I haven't.
It is weird.
Anyway, Antares shows up, tells Haseo to win the title match, and leaves. Haseo says, "Thank you, master," as Antares leaves. So I guess Haseo does respect Antares after all. Yes?
I just laugh. Yawn. You know, where like after you laugh, you have like the little wind down, like yawn sound. That's all that was.
Yes. All right. So Ashley emails Haseo, inviting him to level up with her in Arcade. So we head to the area she specified together. After completing the area, Ashley seems exhausted. They head back to town. That was like an hour of gameplay.
Yeah.
Haseo receives an email from Nala, the old dude from Moontree. He asks us to meet him at the sign in Theta Clever... Excuse me, let me try again. He asks us to meet him at the sign in Theta Clever Genius's Moonraven. We head to the area, find the sign, and use it to warp to a fucking cool new place. Nala's there, and says the reason for all of Atlee's symptoms lies within Ida. And we've entered the tournament to fight Sirius, who has likely been infected. Seo's like, what the fuck? How do you know this stuff? And just, at this point, you should just assume everyone knows everything.
Yeah.
Nala says
CC Corp's servers are just an open directory. Everyone can just go and read shit.
Had we met Nala previously?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, I'd forgotten, and I was very surprised to learn that Mugatu from the film Zoolander is in this game, even though apparently he was already in it.
Yes. He had a whole thing last week, but he was like very forgettable, to be fair.
He is very forgettable.
That was another hour and a half of content.
Yes.
This dungeon was gigantic. The absolute biggest one that we've done so far by a landslide. It was really pretty. But
you don't have to do the whole thing. You can just go to the temple.
Yeah. It's still just big.
It is. I did end up doing most of it just to level up.
Yeah.
So, Nala says he shares our goals and doesn't want us to waste our time with pursuits of futility. He says our next opponent is Hiragi from Moontree. Hiragi's that questionably queer character. Why do I type tongue twisters for myself in this thing? I guess when I'm doing Bernard Remembers, I just cut it out, but I know Sam's going to leave this shit in.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But Nala gives us some really good armor called Vigil Wave for the next fight. Haseo's like, why are you helping me? Nala's like, someday you'll understand, and disappears, even though you cannot log out from an area.
Yeah. And you also can't log out from the Forgotten Lands or whatever the fuck it's called.
Yeah.
Well,
he's a hacker.
Yeah.
Though he probably used the Chimera Wing item that I got a bunch of this week. I forget what it's called.
I think it's just called a return wing.
Yeah.
Fun fact.
Maybe you
now,
just
folks,
see some of those.
Just now, I turned on my PS4 because I wanted to open up my images for the Memorable Moments later. And instinctively, I just clicked on Final Fantasy 14.
God damn it.
I unclicked it. I'm not going to be playing, but like my brain was just like, boop.
Here we go.
What else would I be doing with this damn machine?
So, Antares is the guest commentator at the fight again. He talks about Haseo as his pupil, continuing the trend of biased commentators. Hiragi taunts Haseo and soundly disproves Sam's theory that this game has good queer representation. The fight is easy. Hiragi is sad about being humiliated in front of Sakaki and swears vengeance against Haseo. That happens to Haseo a lot, doesn't it?
Did y'all forget to use the item against him?
Item? Oh,
yeah.
I looked through my fucking he like gives you the vigil wave and an item, and I looked through my item list to try and find it, and I couldn't find it.
I didn't use it. I don't even know what the Vigil Wave is. I guess it's an attack. I completely forgot
the Vigil Wave is the armor. Does he not give you another item?
Is it equipped automatically?
No.
The point is, I didn't do any of that. Is what I'm saying. I don't know exactly what you're supposed to do, but I just fought him. Fun fact: when what's his face Hiragi first shows up, the commentator calls him he, and he immediately shoots the commentator a look and is like, I'll fucking kill you. And then after that, the next two characters to speak say she, and I was like, look at that. But then I guess that was a fluke, because everyone says he after that, and then it gets real gross.
Yes.
It was weird, though. It was weird. Like, the first two characters, like, I think both Adelie and Alkaid are like, look out for her. But then I guess the game forgot that they were being cool.
This is, the writers not knowing what being gay or what being trans is.
I will say, they're hot.
Yes.
Yeah.
And when they talk for when they talk for only a few words at a time, I really like their voice. But when they go on monologues, they're the most obnoxiously sassy gay friend stereotype imaginable. But when they only have a couple lines at a time, I'm like, ooh, nice little voice you got going on there. Ooh, you're hot. But anyway. Blame the contrast.
My bar is Operation Babe Hunt and Enchanted Arms. So by that bar, it's a good queer representation, but it's a pretty damn low bar.
So, outside after the fight, Alkaid tries to tell Haseo something, but says she'll email him instead and logs off. Haseo's like, why doesn't she just say what she wants? And Isn't that just a mood?
I
Isn't that just how women be?
I took a screenshot of that and sent it to like 4 people. I was like, women be not saying what they want.
Oh, problematic jokes. Atali says that she won't be able to log in for a while because she's going to a faraway hospital, but she will be back after the final. Or, no, by the semifinal. She'll be back by the semifinal.
Which, to me, us having done, like, half of maybe one fight so far was like, oh, I have to, like, find someone else to be, like, my healer for a battle. But no, we're apparently already in the semifinals. This is a really fast
I
tournament.
think that's how it was left.
It is.
Too. It's 4 rounds, so it's a 16-person tournament.
So Alcade emails Saseo asking to train more, now at Theta Troubled Her Antitheses. And a few times I didn't take the time to write out what the area words are, but Theta Troubled Her Antitheses feels so good to say, so I wrote that one down.
There's a lot of th in that one.
Yes. No one else is available, so we head there with just Alcade. Partway through the area, Alcade asks if Haseo knows what happened to Indrance after the Demon Palace tournament. Haseo says no, and thinks to himself that he can't talk to her about epitaphs and Ida, even though I totally brought Alcade along to that meeting with Nala where we talked about Ida.
Oh, yeah. He also didn't want to tell Syllabus at the beginning of the game, and I took him to the next one where we fight Ida.
I didn't, because anytime the game gave me an option of who to take, I always took whoever I was supposed to take, and then also Pyrrhus the Third. Yeah. So Pyrrhus the Third knows a lot of this game's lore, but no one else fucking does. I will say, though, you know, her knowing about Ida existing is a little different than, oh yeah, I killed that guy's soul with my Ida powers. Sorry.
True.
Sorry about that.
So Alcade says she saw Indrance after the tournament. He looked hollow, like his life had been drained from him. How that works with character models, I don't know. We see a flashback to her encountering him. He weakly asks if she's seen Mia. He says his beautiful Mia has disappeared and wanders off, babbling about Mia and how he lost. So that's upsetting. We continue through the area and beat the boss. Haseo gets twin swords called Lit Honeysuckle. He asks Alcade if she picked this area because she knew, if she knows what honeysuckles symbolize. He has a flashback to Shino giving him twin swords called Honeysuckle and telling him they symbolize devoted affection. Whoops. In the present, Haseo tells Alcade they symbolize devoted affection, and she flips out and runs away. It's funny.
She gets so fucking flustered and embarrassed, and this is when we realize that Alcade is a
The look on her face when it zooms in and he tells her is the best animation in the entire game.
It's a good face.
It's a great face.
Gaspard emails Haseo asking him to go on a quest with him and Syllabus since Syllabus has seemed down lately. Haseo goes on it because he goes along with everything. We do the quest. After Syllabus emails us to say he's feeling better, I don't even remember why he was feeling bad. But yeah. It wasn't important.
He tells us, I think it's because he feels left out that we're not doing the tournament with him this time. Like, I think he's realized that he's really not cut out for fighting, but it still makes him feel bad that he's getting FOMO from it, I guess.
I feel like that wasn't exactly it, because I feel like, I don't know, my reaction would have been, oh, that makes sense, instead of, oh, whatever.
Yeah, I remember it being something else. Like, it was an email where he was like, yeah, I feel bad because, I don't know, it's 2020 and that's a mood.
Yeah.
But I remember him saying something. It was like about his feelings or something, and he feels better from it.
I was about to say they could do an interesting twist on this sort of game's premise if they made a game or a movie or some kind of story about people interacting through the internet, but it's because of coronavirus and they don't get to see each other anymore, and just the whole story set through that thing. And then I realized, wait, I'm just talking about Homestuck.
Yeah, you
I
really
never
are.
realized it, but Homestuck was actually very prescient in that specific way. I'm not saying people didn't have online distance friendships before, but now it's like, now every single person in the world could read Homestuck and be like, yeah, I get it.
There's
Yeah.
actually a movie I saw a very long time ago called Thomas is in Love or something is the English title. And it's actually filmed entirely as like video conversations because the main character, if I recall correctly, has agoraphobia. So like he doesn't go outside, so he interacts with the outside world through online video chats. It's like a near future sci-fi thing where that's more common than it was in like fucking 2004 or whenever I saw this.
That sounds
Anyway,
cool.
that's my whole story. I don't remember if it was good or not.
It sounds like it'd be hard to make that movie like visually interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah.
How important are visuals for a movie, really?
Isn't it enough to see a face huge?
Which in that movie, that is like all you would see.
Yeah, exactly. You'd see lots of faces huge. So we also get an email notice that it's time for the semifinal. Our opponent is Nala. Before heading in for the fight, Alcade mentions that she and Aseo trained together, and Atali gets worked up about it like they were cyber banging. It's not actually very funny. And also no one is like, hey, Atali, how did your trip to the hospital go? Are you feeling okay? Did they figure anything out?
To be fair, Alcade does say that they did some, quote, really hot, super secret training called just the two of us. Lol.
Alcade is encouraging Atali to jump to conclusions.
It's weird that Haseo doesn't just say, we were just leveling up, bitch. Like, he could have said that, but instead he just goes, it just makes Titus noises.
So Antares is commentator again. I started noting who it was each time in the last game, and now I'm stuck doing it, even though Antares is always the one now.
Yeah, it's weird.
So we start kicking Nala's ass, then it goes into a cutscene, and Nala lets himself get owned. And I was like, man, I wanted to finish kicking his ass instead of it being a cutscene. But he wishes Haseo luck in his final match. We see Sakaki and Bordeaux talking about how she'll be fighting Haseo in the final. Hiragi runs up and asks him to stop keeping company with one such as her. Bordeaux antagonizes him, and Sakaki tells him to return to headquarters. They talk a bit more, and she leaves. We still don't get a good, clear look at her, weirdly. Sakaki says to no one in particular that an exceptionally strong mind is needed to control Ida. So I don't know if he, typed that out and hit enter, or if he, still just had his microphone on.
We know he wasn't thinking it,
Who can
because when
say?
people think things, it does a weird effect on their voice.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think he typed it out to no one in particular. I think, my theory is that everyone who plays this game is just so into the roleplay but they're also the only media they consume is exclusively anime. So they're so into the roleplay that they just naturally do that shit. They're just naturally gonna type I wonder ... Even though no one else is in the area, they're just gonna fucking do that. It's just a thing. they're just at this point it's just become second nature to them. They're just really committed to the roleplay.
That's probably what's going on here. So Atali emails Haseo because she wants to do some one-on-one training with him too. The area she chooses is Theta Lingering Aching Love.
Which is how we know that Atali is a lesbian.
Haseo heads to Doldana. Atali and Alcade are there. Alcade says Haseo is late, even though a specific time was not set. Also, he doesn't have an appointment with her at all. Alcade says she saw Atali preparing to go adventuring and decided to join her, so Alcade's coming too.
And Haseo can't just say no.
Well, why would he want to say no? He wants Alkaid to level up too, and also if he went alone with Adelie, she'd get weird.
That's true.
Because you have to remember, his number one motivation for doing the entirety of .hack.gu is he hates Adelie.
He just doesn't. It's not even that complicated. He just doesn't like her. She's annoying, and he doesn't enjoy her presence. It's not that complicated. She just can't get it.
He cares about her and wants to help her, wants to save her, but he doesn't like her or want to be around her.
And, like, I get that.
That's how I feel about some people in my life.
Yeah. That's how I feel about most other humans. Don't like you. I'll fight to the death to give you, like, human rights, but I don't like you. Don't talk to me. Definitely don't ever come to my house. But
yeah. So after we go through the lingering, aching love, Kuhn emails us. Remember him? He says more and more people are falling into comas, and there's even new types of Ida. Maybe Ida is evolving. He asks Haseo to investigate Theta Secret Mine Surpassed. We go there, and we fight Ida. Turns out our job extension made our avatar more badass, so that's cool. Now it has, like, a giant scythe and can do more shit.
It has a very, very slight mechanical change. As far as I can tell, the only mechanical difference is your 3-hit physical attack combo is now a 4-hit physical attack combo, and the 4th hit shoots out a little laser. But the thing is, we also have a laser, so the battle goes the same as always.
I found it was, in addition to that, much more powerful, it seemed.
Oh, I just figured the bad guy didn't have a lot of health, but, I mean, I guess either way you slice it.
I mean, I think it was the same Anna we were fighting before.
Yeah, it was Anna.
Okay, so his numbers are a lot better, but you don't do anything different.
Yeah, and I'm thankful that it puts up the controls at the beginning of every Ida fight, because, I don't know, I'm not remembering that.
Actually, no, I will say, it's not just that it does more damage, it does also knock their stagger meter significantly more, so that's a functional difference, actually. It's a lot less effort to stagger the enemy.
So, fun fact... you don't have to engage with these at all. You can run up to his face and just sword at any time and finish it in like 11 seconds.
Nice.
I tried that, but it does do more damage if you stagger it first. Your sword does more damage. So I don't know. I didn't, of course, like test the DPS, but I tried that and was like, is this really better? But maybe it is.
Yeah, they don't. The like laser things will be the only things that actually hurt you, and they don't hurt you bad enough to care about them. So just run up to their face and spam both of your weapons as fast as you can to get some staggers and some hits in, and get out of that as fast as you can.
Yeah.
The music was different too.
Oh, I didn't notice.
It was dope.
I like the music in this game.
Yeah, it's
me too.
Fucking good.
So after that adventure with Kuhn, Alkaid emails Haseo saying someone messaged her that they know what happened to Sirius. She's going to meet them at Theta Hidden Forbidden Battlefield, a.k.a. the Coite-Bodher Battlefield. We see Alkaid on the Coite-Bodher Battlefield, and she speaks with a figure we can't see. She asks if the figure knows what's up with Sirius. The figure dashes through Alkaid, and Ida bubbles swarm around her. That's, again, me saying something wrong.
Here.
And Sam's not going to cut it out. Here.
Yep, definitely not happening.
Swarms around the here from Final Fantasy XIV.
Yes.
Alkaid guesses the figure is from Kestrel, so it was definitely Bordeaux, even though we didn't see her at all this time.
We actually, I was going to mention this in a moment, but since you brought it up, one thing I liked about this scene, you do see who it is. You see, there's a shot where she says, "Do you know Sirius?" You said you knew why he's acting so strange, and it's kind of hard to explain, but it's a high angle shot looking down on Alkaid from behind, and at the very, very top of the screen, you see her feet, and she has very distinctive feet. One boot is red, one boot is black. And I thought that was cool. Like, if you notice those feet, you're like, oh, that's a distinctive enough design that I can tell who that is, even though they're like barely showing it. I thought it was cool.
Yeah, I will say
so it definitely is Bordeaux.
A general thing I'm really liking is, even though we all know it's Bordeaux, they're not letting us get a good look at her creepy Ida self right now, and it's reminding me a lot of that beautiful ass scene at the end of Vadon in Rogue Galaxy, where like you think she gets on the train and then the train pulls out and she's left there, and it's like
the one good cinematography in the game.
Yeah, it's, to be fair, it's jaw-droppingly good, really, and the rest of the game is okay. But that part specifically, it was amazing, and this is reminding me a lot of it, where they're like, oh yeah, if we don't show you stuff, it's even better than what we do show you.
And also, I noticed that they mostly do the "we're not showing you stuff" cinematography in scenes where Haseo isn't present, which is neat. So,
I certainly have not played Rogue Galaxy and will not.
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah, yeah. So having beaten Rogue Galaxy, I think that everybody could probably find enjoyment in it, but also nobody should probably play it. So it's okay.
Video games.
Yeah.
If someone made you play it, you'd enjoy it. Or if you wanted to play it for the historical reasons of, like, it's interesting to play it if you play other level 5 games and it's interesting in context, like, sure. But, like, yeah, as a game, it's like, well, that was the thing that happened for a while.
Yeah. And I love the fact that Level 5 thought it was so good that they were ready to be the next Dragon Quest and Final Fantasy, and it's not that good. Yeah. But it was like marketed as the next big thing, and it was a thing, and that's enough.
So when Haseo arrives, he sees Alkaid fall to the ground. He runs to her and holds her. She tries to speak, but her voice sounds muffled and distant. Her character starts fading. She says her consciousness is fading. Haseo begs her not to go. He says he doesn't want to lose any more friends. He remembers Shino telling him not to cry because boys don't cry. And let me tell you, that ain't true.
That ain't true at all.
Yeah. In the present,
a 3-year-old made me cry today.
I wouldn't know. I used to cry, but then it turned out that I became a girl, so I don't know. Maybe boys don't.
Anyway, Alkaid also tells him not to cry because boys don't cry. She tells him to find Endrance and that he'll take over for her. Alkaid fades away. And
Alkaid fucking dies.
When you leave the area, Haseo says she's become one of the lost ones. So Alkaid fucking died. Yep.
And if you go and check your emails and the forums and the news and everything, she is straight up in a coma. They're like the first person to like be confirmed in a coma because of the World Revision 2, and it shows her picture and it's her. I don't know why Alkaid used her own fucking face for her avatar, but she did, and
cool, so she's hot in real life.
Yeah, it's
I mean, some people make their game characters look like themselves.
I kind of did on my FF14 character.
But yeah, it's crazy because I wasn't expecting the news to like further the plot any, but it did, and she's dead.
Well, she's not dead. She's in a coma.
Yeah,
comas are dead light. It's the diet version of death.
Yeah, no, really. Like when it comes to like literature and narratives, like coma is just the only difference between coma and dead is that they might become not coma anymore, but also they might not. So it's just a surprise.
Yeah, it's Schrodinger's death.
Yeah, we couldn't decide if we wanted to kill this character yet.
Yeah.
So that was. This week's gameplay was, I think, about twice as long as either previous week this volume, and we got through it in 43 minutes.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, we fucking
I was just looking at that because like we had planned to do more, and I was like, oh, that would be super long because we've done so much. But yeah, a good half of this week could have been an email, but here we are.
But I enjoyed a lot of it, especially because, as we talked about, the gameplay got better.
Yeah, the gameplay got a lot better.
Although those cave dungeons, one of them had the dungeon that used the graphics of like the Japanese like building style, right? It had 4 areas. 4.
Yeah,
it's too many.
It was ridiculous.
Anyway. And you can't use your bike there.
Yeah, the dungeons get longer and longer, and they keep being caves and Japanese
houses,
whatever you call those houses. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not fun, but the ones where you do get your bike are a lot of fun.
Yes.
This is now a pro bike podcast instead of being an anti-bike podcast like it was last game.
The bike mission I did was a little lame. I thought I was going to get to a race, but instead I just played like Keep Away with some dudes. And then after I played Keep Away with some dudes, they're like, cool, you unlock the like bike missions. Go to this guy's house. He lives like right next to his house is like right next to the at homes in Doldona. And I went there and it didn't exist.
Weird.
Did y'all find this person's abode?
No, I wasn't trying to do bike missions at all.
So you do
I don't do optional content.
Was it in Doldona? Because all of the other quest shop people are in Mackinac.
They said like Doldona. I wasn't sure, so I went back and looked it up, and it was like, no, they said Doldona. Also, I did check Mackinac in case it was just a translation error, and I couldn't find him there either, though I probably could look again at Mackinac and maybe look better this time. But anyway.
Yeah, no idea. But
I want to do bike missions.
I want to get on your bike and go.
Oh, sometimes I want to get on my bike and go.
So let's listen to some music. I don't have it planned which one. And then we'll talk about our memorable moments. Memorable moments. Maddie, you pulled all yours up.
Yeah,
what do you have?
I got a couple. One of them we already said, but I'm going to revisit it anyway because for context. So first we had the line where Haseo goes, "What a weird girl. Why didn't she just say what she wanted?" And I'm like, Haseo, those two sentences contradict each other. He should have said, "What a typical girl." That's why she didn't just say what she wanted. TFW, the backhacker sentence answers the question, or the first part of your sentence answers the question in the second part of your sentence. But then later, he says when Adley is about to get mad because before the tournament because they're fighting over the fact that he and Alcade fucked, Haseo goes, "Hey now, don't go getting yourself all worked up by jumping to conclusions." And I'm like, women be getting themselves all worked up by jumping to conclusions. We be doing that. Before or after we be shopping. Anyway, other things, I already talked about the feet. After we have the mission with Adley and where Adley wanted to become by ourselves, but then Alcade wanted to come too. Adley sends us an email, and she goes, "Today was a great adventure, even if it wasn't what we originally set out to do, ... Alcade is really direct and straightforward, isn't she? I think she's great." So, it's always good when your two girlfriends get along with each other. Because if they don't, it's going to cause a problem. They should start dating and say, to heck with Haseo. Anyway, what else? Oh yeah, again, Haseo's like, it looks like I have no choice but to bring Al-Qaeda along too. And I'm like, buddy, there's this amazing thing called saying no. Just try it sometime. One thing, in the scene where we're seeing Bordeaux from behind when she's talking with what's his butt?
Sakaki.
Sure. Or Gesundheit. We actually do get a slight view of her back, and her back has like splotchy black Ida blobs all over it, which is a really cool design. We don't get a good view, but we can tell it's like, oh, that's like what Ida bubbles look like. Anything else? Let's see.
If you would have asked me in part 1 which villain would turn out to be majorly important in the second one, I would not have picked Bordeaux. She seemed 100% like a comic relief, like Tron Bond sort of character. But here she is, being an Ida.
And finally, just a little line. When you do the bike mission, the little quest giver guy is always like, because these side quests that aren't important and don't matter and aren't fun have so much dialogue setting them up. You always talk to like a specific character telling you about the problems that I don't care about. But he's talking about how he has this bike and he basically he was in an area and there are these 5 like speed goblins, and the speed goblins challenge him to a race. Instead, if he loses, he has to give them his bike. So he challenged him to the race and he lost. Now he has to give them his bike. And he tells us, with my bike gone, I lost my confidence, my pride, and my reason for living. And I'm like, aw, okay, I'll get your bike back, buddy. I can relate to that. And I did get his bike back. Actually, I don't remember if I got his bike back, but I'm assuming I did. I was probably skipping those guys' names. But like, I did the mission, so those goblins were a lot of fun. They were made of pure gold and they ran real fast, but they ran in predetermined patterns, so it wasn't hard to catch them. All right, that's all I got.
Yeah, I had a couple that were all from the forums, but my office is too far away from my PS4, so my Vita won't connect to show me what they were, so I don't remember. But I do remember where in the forums they were, and they were on the official The World forum. It opened like just now. We just got one, and looking there, and I remember it was good, but I don't remember what it was. But I remember seeing it being like, that's going to develop. That's definitely a really cool thing I need to talk about. But this was a week and a half ago now, so I don't remember what it was.
We'll talk about it next time. Yeah, I didn't do any out of the world-ing this time around, just because I didn't have a lot of time. It was kind of eye on the prize, but yeah, I'm looking forward to diving back into it next week.
Yeah,
I looked and saw there was new Salvador Ihara online Jack, and I was like, I'll watch that later, and then I forgot.
Well, we'll watch it next time.
So I didn't see if there was a new online Jack. There might have been, like, right as we jacked out of the Matrix for the week, but there was a deep dive on him, and he's half Japanese, half Brazilian, and
that makes sense given the name.
And his he's constantly like bringing Brazilian culture to Japan, and that's what made him famous. And
maybe that's what I saw there was instead of a new online Jack.
That's cool.
Maybe so.
I like that.
Yeah. And then there was a bunch of other I remember what it was. This one was from the forums. Not the forums, from the news. The news talks about a country that, after a bunch of capitalist injustices, there were a whole bunch of riots and yada 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 this and yada 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 that, and it literally was just about America in 2020, but with some made up country name on it.
Nice.
Which is great. And it was like if I literally changed Kazakhstan to America, it would be just you would think I was just reading a news blurb about 2020.
It's like
it's crazy.
It's like they had the police violence, and they had the total economic inequality, and also now, according in .hack.gu, it's like, and now Kazakhstan has a deadly plague that's ravaging the country, and in addition to that, there's a damn
half of it's on fire,
and there's a dang Cheeto in the White House.
Does Kazakhstan have a Cheeto in the White House?
Hey, CyberConnect, does Kazakhstan have a Cheeto in the White House? But yeah, that's all I can remember. I'm sure I will remember other cool stuff when I wake up in a hot sweat in the middle of the night. Be like, I should have talked about Adelie or something. But,
no, Adelie doesn't do anything memorable ever.
Nope.
She really doesn't. In one scene, she had a slight British accent for some reason.
Did she?
She totally did in one scene.
Weird. Oh, also...
maybe she's a Tia-boo.
Maybe so.
She was trying it out.
But,
yeah. Maybe her faraway hospital was in Britain, and she came back and she had picked it up a little.
Maybe so. I also think it's hilarious that the two love interests for Haseo so far both remind him of Shino in different ways. So it's like, does it really count? Does he even like either of these people? Is this really setting him up to be a romantic interest when they're both just not Shino?
Oh yeah, I also thought it was funny in this game how this week we had two different instances of a character saying or doing something that had symbolic meaning, but they forgot to set it up ahead of time, so they tell us what the symbol means the second it comes back, and are like, here's this thing that has meaning. It's like, hey, remember when Shino told Haseo that boys don't cry, and now Alcade's saying it to him? Like, yeah, you just told me it right before, like 3 seconds earlier. And it's like, hey, remember when Shino gave Haseo a honeysuckle? It's like, yeah, you told me literally 5 seconds before so that I would know why this is important. That's not how dramatic structure works, but okay.
Yeah, but in the fiction that we are Haseo's player playing the game, I would have thought about it, though not in that order. I would not have just randomly thought about Shino and then Alcade said it. It would have worked to be in the opposite direction.
Yeah,
so yeah, they're stupid.
Yeah. He's like, hey, my friend is dying in front of me, but I'm gonna remember that one time when my old girlfriend said that boys don't cry, and then a second. Oh no, he was crying at the time, so I could see that. It's like he's. I'm really reaching here, but we could say oh, he's crying, and when he starts crying, he thinks about the fact that Shino would say boys don't cry, and then Alcade says it, and he's like, what the fuck? But also, the game is silly. To quote Bernard Rivers, video games are stupid.
Yes. You know that thing that Japanese role-playing games do sometimes, where someone will say something, and then 5 minutes of gameplay later, someone says something related to that, and it has a flashback to the original thing being said?
Yep.
Persona 5 does that a lot, and I hate it.
Yes.
And what you were talking about just reminds me of that. So I said it, even though it's not related.
In some, I forget what movie it was. There was some movie that we watched one time that we were watching a riff tracks of it, and they did that in the movie, and the guys riffing were just like, "Hey, remember that time when we did that?" And now I always think of that when that happened. It's like, remember that? It's like, hey, remember that time when you said that you loved ice cream? And then the other person's like, yeah.
The Master of Disguise, the movie The Master of Disguise actually has a good gag about that.
Oh, nice. I've been meaning to rewatch The Master of Disguise. I want to have the hot take that it's good, actually, but I can't have that hot take that's good, actually, until I actually watch it again.
No.
So I rewatched it, and it is incredibly juvenile, but it rules, actually.
Say it's good, actually. There we go.
But it's good. It's good, actually.
Hell yes.
I mean,
So-
I liked it as a kid. It does have some yellow face in it, but,
Yeah.
other than that, it does have a good gag about flashbacks.
There we go.
Yeah. And it has a Captain America reference before the MCU, so those are always weird.
That's interesting.
Like people remembering that Captain America exists before Chris Evans. But anywho, Bernard, do you have any memorable moments to?
The new places that we go to this week look real cool.
Yeah, they're all really good.
The place where we talk to Nala fucking rules. It's like all purple. The music is beautiful and the background is purple. And Coitus Boner Battlefield is really cool looking. It's not a battlefield, it's just like a sort of small stone platform where a battle really couldn't take place.
It's more like a plaza.
Yeah.
It's cool, though. It has all this mysterious stuff that implies that puzzles might happen. Maybe they'll happen later. I'm sure they won't be really puzzles. I'm sure it'll just be like plot shit. But I think it would be cute if it didn't ever become plot shit and it's just part of the world. And by the world, I mean like capital T, capital W. It's just like, yeah, this is a mysterious area. If Haseo was actually doing the story missions, he might come and do this puzzle eventually, but he's not doing the story missions.
That would be cute.
Because if you investigate it, it's like, it looks like you can insert something into this pillar. And I'm like, I'm not playing that type of game.
And it's funny because, like, I guess that implies we'll come back and do something important later, but we weren't going there to do something important. We were just going there because Alcade said so, and Alcade was only there because someone told them to meet her there, or her to meet them there. So, like, it could have been anywhere. Like, this is just a random place. As far as we know, whatever mysterious shit is going on with the ruins is not related to our quest at all. We're just there to talk to a guy.
Yeah.
He could have just, like, what's her name? The bad lady could have easily just said, hey, okay, meet me at Holgron's Cathedral, right? Like,
yeah.
But I'm sure it'll end up being important.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really have any other memorable moments that I didn't already riff on.
Cool.
Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and click log in with Ruler Graph, and by the time we're done, I should be through the queue.
Yeah. But yeah, if you liked what you heard, before we do all that shit, shout outs to my Afro Ate My Dog and Car for dropping down some big bucks this week, because we have unlocked parts 3 and part 4 of .hack GU. So we will
Congratulations.
Pretty
we have
much
to play the rest of this game.
We will probably be picking them up as soon as we put this one down, because I don't have to move this time. Was the only reason there was really a break at all. But then after that, the next shortcast, because we alternate between a long cast and a short cast, so the next short cast will be The Last of Us, part 1,
which I'm so excited about.
Yeah,
Have all three of us played that?
I have not played it. I've been putting it off for this exact, like back before we were playing, like starting this podcast for real. Like, we are still playing Persona. I then of course was theory crafting the trajectory of the podcast, and I was like, yeah. And then like our main cast will be RPGs, but then we could have one that's for the really long RPGs and ones that's for short plot heavy games, and we could play The Last of Us. And because of that, I have not picked up The Last of Us ever since. You've just been praying every day that people will donate us enough money for you to get to play The Last of Us. Yeah. And then, of course, when we started, I'm like, let's do Halo first, because I'm fucking stupid. And you know what? One thing that's fun is actually, I'm really looking forward to playing The Last of Us, because my two dear friends played The Last of Us 2, even though a lot of the critics were saying it was dumb. And as I expected, my two dear sweet friends who have great taste and whom I trust said it's a goddamn masterpiece. So, nice. I'm looking forward to playing one, and then playing, if they didn't say it was great, I wouldn't want to play it. But yeah, but also I did have a hunch. When I read some of those reviews, I was like, I could see a world where this review is correct, but I could also see a world where this is a game that I would fucking love, and the review would say the same thing. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like if a review is like, this game's gameplay is weird and janky, and that's bad. And I'm like, okay, when I play it, I might agree that it's weird and janky and it's bad, or I could just as easily be like, it's weird and janky,
and that's why it's good. It's like 50-50.
Yeah. But yeah, so if you want us to play The Last of Us as soon as we finish playing .hack, and none of us will ever get a vacation ever again, you can go to our Ko-Fi, www.ko-fi.com, and drop us some donations that will go into The Last of Us bucket and fill it up eventually. But if you want to just hang out with us, you can get a link to our Discord at www.rpgbook.club. I promise I will do something else with the website besides it just being a landing page for our Discord eventually. But having kids is hard, so I haven't played a lot of leisure JRPGs since then. I might do a JRPG canon about Metroid Samus Returns, but
that's part of the JRPG canon.
It should be. But yeah, so come hang out with us. Shout outs to our new friends in the Discord. Everyone is cool. We love everyone. And for RPG Book Club, I have been Sam Allman.
I'm waiting to log into Final Fantasy XIV. I mean, Maddie Grace 511.
I am David Bernard House.
Have a week, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Hi.
Log out.
Hell yes.